And we're back. Welcome to the Worst Sports Channel on YouTube, Hot Garbage Sports with me, Coach Ryan D. News and notes from around the NHL. We're about 18 to 20 games in, depending on the team. Maybe your team's got 17. As you hit that 25 game mark, the playoffs, they become set. Science. Yeah, it's not really science, just statistics. Statistically speaking, 13 or 14 of the teams holding playoff positions at the 25 game mark will retain their playoff positions. There are very little pieces of movement in the NHL. It's usually only 2 or 3 teams change positions at that 25 game mark. So we're getting oh so close to that December time when, I hate to say it, fans, the rest of the games don't matter. Tune out. I'll see you in the playoffs. Okay, don't do that. We'll cover it all the way through. But let's go ahead and go through the NHL's news, notes, rankings, and talk about it division by division. And after a short hiatus due to technical difficulties, meaning, well, my computer broke and it's a very difficult time right now to get computer parts. Let me tell you something about that. And I don't like producing low quality content. So we took a little bit of a break there, but we're back and we're going to cover 3 different areas of the NHL going forward. Took some time. We're going to retool the old YouTube channel. Number 1, NHL news and notes. We'll talk about the league once per week. Number 2, we'll still talk about the Winnipeg Jets once per week, recapping all their games. And number 3, you're going to leave a comment down below on this video, on the videos where we do news, notes, and rankings. And you're going to tell me, Coach, this is what I want to see you cover in your coach's breakdown. You want me to give a star rating to your player and tell you how their skills are developing for your favorite young guy? Let me know. You want to know about a tactical piece of the game of hockey, whether that be power play, penalty kill, neutral zone, forecheck. If there's just something you've always been dying to know, you let me know with a comment down below. You want to let me know what's wrong or right with your team's favorite system or player. You let me know. We'll make a video about that bi-weekly. So that's how you get in touch with Coach Ryan D. You get your voice heard. Comments down below. All right, Andrew Brunette's Florida Panthers, no longer Joe Quenneville's. The team continues to roll. They continue to be on top of the Atlantic Division. And we said it. Videos above. We said this division was going to be dominated by 3 teams. Then we threw the Bruins in there with a little asterisk where we said the Bruins will go as far as goaltending gets them, and the Bruins don't have a lot of depth outside of their first line. Lo and behold, the Bruins underperformed a little bit because they're really only rocking 4 players, a perfection line and Charlie McAvoy, and they find themselves in the middle of the division. But other than that, the Panthers, the Lightning, and yes, the Maple Leafs, baby, they are in the top 3 of this division. They are the class of this division. So no Quenneville, no problem. Barkov goes out with a short day-to-day injury. He'll be back. It's nothing to worry about. The Florida Panthers have definitely one of the best teams in this division. But fans of Florida, you're not going to like hearing this. I still have you behind, even though you are super dominant right now. I have you behind the Leafs. Whoa. I know. We're going to catch you up on all Leafs news, and I have you behind the Bolts. No Kucherov, and now no Point for the Bolts. However, they still managed to be 7-1-2 in their last 10, and the Maple Leafs are 8-2-0. Yes, I know Florida's on top of the division, but they are 5-2-3 right now. All great records, all can change as things are going on, but no Kucherov, no Point for the foreseeable future. I see Tampa Bay hovering around position 4 through 2. They're not going to overtake 1. They're going to remain in the playoff race. The guys are going to come back just in time for the playoffs, $18 million over the cap, and they're going to roll. That's just what Tampa Bay does. Like it or love it. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Ooh, the Maple Leafs. We said in this division that the Maple Leafs are a serious cup contender. We got laughed at. Mostly by Maple Leafs fans and non-Maple Leafs fans. Actually, just nobody ever believes in the Leafs anymore. I still do. I'm not even a Leafs fan. Look what we're wearing. The Maple Leafs have really found their stride and they have figured out their depth. Kyle Dubas has done it again. I told everybody throughout the year, calm down on Mitch Marner, calm down on the Leafs. And lo and behold, here we are. And the one guy I had the biggest amount of question marks for, which was Jack Campbell, has proven to be the starter that others thought he was. I still think he's an excellent guesser, but we now have a large enough sample size to say Campbell is likely the real deal. And when you go down the Maple Leafs roster at lines 1 through 4, Bunting playing on the first line makes a ton of sense. Nick Ritchie sliding into the third line makes a ton of sense. Kerfoot up to the second line makes a ton of sense. Marner wasn't scoring. Well, he is now. He leads the Maple Leafs in points. They have one of the deepest lines in the NHL. I mean, you got Jason Spezza on your fourth line. Morgan Rielly is still anchoring the blue line. Justin Holl may or may not be trade bait. We'll end up seeing, and it's the newly contracted Morgan Rielly, so he's part of this core. Remember, it took Tampa Bay like 4 or 5 swings at the plate before they finally closed and won the cup. Took Chicago a couple years to get together before they won the cup. San Jose never won the cup, and they were that good. Toronto has a window of a couple years still here, especially now with Campbell being on an entry-level contract and Dubas's ability to add depth pieces like Bunting, like Ritchie onto the team. I mean, Case also looking good. Can't forget about him. This team looks good again, but again, we'll have to wait to the playoffs before serious games are played and real analysis is given. So when we're looking at this division right now, I actually have the Leafs on top. I have the Bolts 2. I have the Panthers 3. Oh, I know people aren't going to like that, but Barkov or no Barkov, the Panthers are an amazing team. They have depth among depth, and it is really a 3-horse race. It's going to be very hard to get out of this division. The Red Wings are overperforming. The Bruins are underperforming. The Sabres, thank you for coming down to light. I mean, geez Louise, guys. You started off super hot. You got everybody really excited. Welcome back to the Buffalo Sabres 2-7-1. Right to the basement you go. Bums. The Canadians, I don't know what you want me to tell you. There's no Carey Price. Allen's hurt. There's a whole bunch of problems with the Canadians. Bergevin. Canadians are a hot mess. Dumpster fire is the professional term. So that is the Atlantic news and notes. Let's move on to the Metro. Big news out of the Metro is Martin Brodeur used his child's crayon to sign the new first ever third jersey. Oh, for the New Jersey Devils. The Devils have some of the best unis in the league, and they put this crap together. Hey, if you like it, let me know down below in the comments. Jerseys are really controversial. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There's a really college vibe to it, but it doesn't capture anything about the Devils. I mean, your name is the Devils. It's super cool. You could go so many ways with this, and all you do is write Jersey on it. You may as well put a picture of Snooki from Jersey Shore on your uniform and move the on, because I don't understand what this crap is. I don't like the uniform at all, but I've said it many times on this channel in my logo and jerseys video above that I do not like a lot of logos unless you're Rangers that spell out teams' names. I think it's boring. I think it's uncreative. The Hurricanes are still the best team in hockey, bar none, period. They are 7-2-1, and these guys are going to roll. I mean, the Carolina Hurricanes just in a class of their own. Capitals and the Rangers are doing exactly what we expect Capitals and the Rangers to do. Big rivalries, so the tough New York Rangers and their young talent, they're starting to step up. Kakko Capo finding his way. Alexander Lafreniere remains on the third line. Still waiting for more from those two guys. Like, you could show up anytime, boys. But Vincent Lecavalier, Blake Wheeler, and other players in the NHL have proven time and time again that high draft picks sometimes take until they're 22 to 24 years old to really pay off. So stick with these two guys. They're darn good. The Jackets are actually solidly in contention, but I do think that the Pittsburgh Penguins are on a roll. They just ended up knocking off the Winnipeg Jets. As the Penguins and Crosby continue to get healthier and push forward, the Penguins should rebound back to the playoffs. They looked really bad for a minute there. Like really bad. But the Penguins are now 5-3-2 in their last 10. The Flyers, the Devils, they're in the basement. And the Islanders, just like the Canadians, I don't see them getting out of this. Just a tough year for New York fans. Sorry, guys. You moved to the new building. You had a great run last year. It is what it is. Teams go up, teams go down. You're probably staying down. We'll revisit, though, in a week. Off to the West. The Central Division, home of my Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Jets were the top team in the Central Division, and then they end up losing to Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. McDavid single-handedly takes a point away from the Jets because he's Connor McJesus, and then they run into the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Jets have run into some interesting trials and tribulations. On one hand, I actually think the Jets are one of the best teams in the NHL. Not a lot of people and beat writers are agreeing with me, but the Jets are playing some of the best hockey they've ever played defensively. They're just going to have to figure out the scoring, and I hate to say it, but scoring is easier to figure out than team defense. Penalty kill, atrocious. But they're joined by the Blues and the Wild in the top three. The Wild still look like the class of this division. The Blues, people are having trouble figuring them out. This is a log jam of a division. That's what we said about this coming in. It will be a log jam. The Predators surprised us. We did say they have a 28% chance to make the playoffs. I don't think the Predators are going to hang on because here come the Avalanche, man. Like, the Avalanche are looking like the powerhouse that they should be. If you ask me who the number one team is in the Central Division right now, it's the Colorado Avalanche. It is not the Minnesota Wild. even though they're down there at 5. They are 7-2-1 in their last 10, and they are figuring out how to roll. Too much talent, too good to stay down there. This team will creep into a playoff position before game number 25, and if they don't, they'll be one of the 2 positions that ends up sweeping in there. And trust me, nobody wants to play Colorado in a low position, because it's like there's no reward to that. It doesn't matter where Colorado finishes. They're going to be nasty to play in the playoffs, but goaltending, still suspect for them, in my opinion. So that's the Avs. The Stars, the Blackhawks, the Yotes, I don't really see them moving into much. Maybe the Stars, but I really do think the top 5 are set here. The Pacific, Daryl Sutter and the Flames. Hey, old school is in now, baby. Daryl Sutter's got the Flames playing hockey the way hockey is supposed to be played. I don't like the Sutters, period. Hard stop. Don't like them. I don't like any of the Sutters. I think they're dicks. That's the end of it. They're just wieners, but they understand hockey and they understand old school hockey. Their players, I don't think, like them. I mean, Daryl Sutter got locked out of a locker room by his Stanley Cup winning LA Kings. That's how much they like this guy. But he gets W's from teams, and he has shaken up the Flames to a point where they are number 1 in the Pacific right now, competing with the Oilers, the Ducks. Here come the Golden Knights again. Golden Knights are 7-3-0, but the story of this division isn't who's crawling up or crawling down. It's like a hard line. The Ducks, the Knights, the Oilers, and the Flames, all on top, looking dominant. But then you look at the Sharks, the Kings, the Canucks, and the Kraken, they're way down. So every second game you play in this division is likely an easy game. Every second game you play in this division is a very hard game. The Ducks rebuild is going swimmingly. This is one of the best teams in the NHL. I said they would be an absolute bust and they would be a force in the future, but Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale, along with Troy Terry, have just decided to poop all over that for me and say, nope, we're going to win this as a bunch of 19 and 21-year-olds. Why not? I love it. So I love what the Ducks are doing. Gibson has returned back to form. The Oilers goaltending situation, we got to talk about that. The Oilers, I think, are the best team in this division still, but this goaltending situation is a problem. Skinner got hot against the Jets. He looks like he's doing enough. Koskinen, people are like, oh, Koskinen, he's so good. Whoa, thanks, voice of public opinion. I've been saying Koskinen is dust. Koskinen is dust. He's still dust. He is overperforming. And I said this about Mike Smith last year. Mike Smith was overperforming, and I said Mike Smith is a little bit too old, and Mike Smith could fall off a cliff at any point in time. And here we are. The body is broken. He's fallen off the cliff. I still think Koskinen is dust. Skinner is nothing more than a third goalie. He's fine for now. You have a problem in goal. I don't care if you want to hear it or not, Oilers fans. You got a problem there. But your top 6 forwards, specifically McDavid and Draisaitl, I mean Gretzky and Curry, whatever, same thing. And Darnell Nurse are really carrying this team. This team looks really strong with these guys. Connor McDavid, the next one, he's the best in the world. He's the best in the world. He is better than Drysdale. I don't care how many points Drysdale got. This is McDavid's team. So I have the Oilers on top. Recapping in the NHL right now, I think the Hurricanes are the number 1 team in the league this year. Number 2, shockingly, I'm giving it to the Leafs. Hate me or not a Leafs fan. Jet stuff everywhere. So that isn't a biased review for you. After that, sitting in at number 3, I'm going with the Colorado Avalanche, even though they're down there. And at number 4, it's got to be the Panthers right now. I really want it to be the Bolts, but those 2 guys out, we got to give it to the Panthers for now. The Bolts, I could switch them in there. The Atlantic Division, those top 3 teams, they're just hot. They're hot, hot, hot right now. All right, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you want me to cover. This has been Coach Ryan D. Hawk Coverage Sports.